I don't know who needs to hear this, but sometimes you gotta take some time off to see who really wants your spot. Like sometimes you gotta take some time off and back up and act like something happened just to see who really wants to be in your shoes. You ever had those friend groups back in the day and you never saw how people really felt about you until you didn't show up one day for one of the friend meetups and now you become topic of conversation somehow? Like vice versa for family scenarios, like you show up to family functions and the days you don't show up, then few days you just cannot make it. These people could not wait to start spilling the beans and talking crap about you. Like it's these type of scenarios that you kind of have to remove yourself for a while just to see who really fucks with you. Like I'm going through an isolation period right now where I'm going through some stuff. My life is good, everything is fine, but I just have been made myself a little bit more private, a way more. Like I've dumbed it down. And I do that sometimes because we're instructed by God to put ourselves into an isolation period, to cloak our energy from people who are not meant to be tapping in and reading that. You understand? Touch not my anointing, do my prophets no harm. Sometimes God will put you in a situation where he has to hide you. He will hide you in plain sight because when he hides you in plain sight, he wants the enemy to think it's over. He wants the enemy to do that victory lap, not knowing, baby, you're rising up and after 3 business days. You're rising up to the occasion because Jesus said so, baby. Okay, God needed the enemy to think that you were finished. They wanted the victory that bad, so God said, okay, play dead. I'm gonna need you to play dead, okay? You ever see them spiders? They would literally play dead, act like they're smushed and they're not. Yeah, God told you to play dead like a spider, and they seen you laying down, body flipped over, legs up in the air, cringe flurled, looking like you're dry and frail. And God said, when I tell you to get up, you get up, baby. Is that hole that they dug for you and tried to put you in, baby? They didn't know that they buried you. And in that same hole that they buried you in and you're about to rise to the occasion from, that you're about to prosper from, I'm going to need them to get in it when I'm done with you. So you're going to be an example. So get up. When God said get up, you got up. And the enemy was shocked because sometimes you got to distract the enemy. Sometimes you got to lie to the enemy. Sometimes you got to give the enemy a little bit of piss to have them thinking it's baby to throw them off, and that's exactly what God did. God allowed the enemy to feel like they were winning. God allowed the enemy to do the victory lap. God gave the enemy the same amount of time he gave you, but he gave them more. Because when God gave these folks more time and more thread to hang themselves, he was making sure that it was a permanent hang. He was making sure that when they made this move, there was no going back. There was no undoing it. There was no, oh, we made a mistake. There was no, oh, we misinterpreted. No, you had time and you still did what you did. You had time and you still chose the route that you went. So I'm going to need my child to play dead real quick while I handle you. And then as soon as you turn around and you least expect it, you're doing that victory lap going through the Dougie. Here comes my child rising up to the occasion to slay that ass, baby. And this season, God had to hide you in plain sight. God needed you to remove yourself so you could see who really wanted that slipper, baby. Cinderella's shoe was meant for you, but you had the evil, ugly stepsisters trying to put it on. That cape was meant for you, and you had the brothers trying to put on the coat of colors, baby. But it wasn't meant for them. It was never written for them. Sometimes God will remove you from situations so you can see who really rocking with you and who's not, and who's ready to speak upon your name as soon as you hit the door. A lot of times we be parading around people who would take our life in 5 seconds if they had the opportunity to get away with it. And when God sees this, he allows us to be in a season of privacy and protection and isolation. So we are fooling the enemy, okay? And while we're fooling the enemy, we're still praising in the process to confuse the enemy. And this season, God needed you to play dead because it was all part of the plan, baby.